accepter mon contrat. Yes, sorry, just a minute. Parce que je pouvais prendre contrôle directement sur via Teams. Change the control. Okay, sorry for this false start. So just to follow the introduction given by Sophie, just the key dates for the ongoing call. So the call was opened in March, and it will be closed on the 12th of June at 13 Brussels time. The mandatory annexes that are, of course, indicated in the terms of reference will be will have to be delivered until 26th of June, and you will have an assessment between June and January. The assessment phase will last from June to January 2025, before selection in February 2025, and beginning of the project 1st of April 2025. So in this call, we have two types of projects. In this program, sorry, we have two types of project, the thematic projects and the governance project as well. But if you follow the first seminar and then the thematic seminar by mission, you will be familiar with those, especially given that the governance projects introduce themselves that time. So for this fourth call, we only target thematic projects, and within this thematic project that are gathering study, test, and transfer project, but also strategic territorial. This call targets only study projects with 2.5 million euros and transfer projects with 1.5 million euros. And we would like to focus on to prioritize the transfer projects for this call, to encourage you to apply for transfer projects. To continue with this introduction, we will show you how the application is going through GEMS. Since we are the first technical seminar, we will go through those steps quite fast, let me say, because it's quite intuitive, and maybe some of you already did submit proposal for the second call. So some of you might already be familiar with the process. So if you already have a GEMS account, if you already submit the proposal, you can use it, of course, for this fourth call. If you do not have a GEMS account, you have to create one. So you can connect to the website and follow the steps to create a new account, follow a very classical way, the validation mail, and fill in your profile before this. Then once you will be connected to GEMS, you will find this kind of page with the ongoing call. So this is the test page. So that is why you have several calls. But right now, at the moment, only one call, and the call for the thematic call for proposal test and transfer is open, and you just go and click on apply to start your application. So that is concretely the step where you are creating your new project application. So you will there choose the acronyms. So you can see that there are 14 characters. So try to be as concise as possible. And then just to give you an overview of the first steps, you will have project identification with the acronym, the project title, the duration. So the duration is 33 months for the test project and 27 for the transfer project. And as you can see, you will have to pick a priority and a specific objective for your application and to select the project mission. So from the beginning, you really have to think about your project within the architecture of the program, but we will come back to this right after this. Comment, if you can see here in the project title, you can see you have a small circle. So it means that you need to fill the section both in French and in English. I mean, you have to fill the fields in English and French, which does not mean that you necessarily have to translate it. I mean, we need summaries in both languages, but for the others, when it's needed, you can just copy paste the English title, for example, on the French side. It's just that for helping you, the purpose to help you, we are having a check to see if all mandatory sections are filled. So we are also checking that we cannot choose to check only in French or only in English. So it's always checked in both languages. So that is why you have to make sure there is something in both sections. For example, if you go then on French, you can just put a dot or a slash, and to the system it will not be empty, and it will be possible to go on with the application. So you can, here is just a small section we will come back to afterwards, but you can fill your application, of course, progressively. You do not have to do this all at once, but do not forget to save changes once you start filling your application. So the lead partner is starting the application, but you will see, and I forgot to put the slide here, but there are some project privileges where the lead partner can add email addresses of other partners or persons who have a GEMS account, and those can also take part to the writing of the proposal. So the writing can be done by several persons. Just please do not forget to have a regular coherence check because writing with several hands can be sometimes problematic. So we will now go directly to the strategical framework. So why do we start with this and not with the partnership? Because really, when you are thinking about your project, you have to think strategically about it, about what you want to do, and about what you want to do into the program, because you have to stick with an architecture, with an organization, with the purposes and priorities of the program. So it's really a balance to find between your project and how you will put it into the framework of the program, and then build your partnership to reach your objectives. So that is why we're starting with this part. So recommendations for a start. Well, just as I just said, you consider the cooperation program's objective and structure. So when you build the strategical framework of the project, you really have to position its application in the context of the Interreg Euromed program. So this entails the understanding of the program, its objectives, its structure, and as well as its architecture and the means to achieve the program's results. So that is why in the terms of preferences, we're always starting with the type of project and then the short view of short presentation of the program. It's already to really give you an idea about where the projects are located within the program. So then you have to take in consideration and to understand the result amplification strategy. I will come back to this just afterwards, but it is very important because the role of each category of projects and there are really presented in it, and especially their interconnections and interlinks are there. So if you followed, for example, the thematic seminar by missions, you can now have a clearer view of what kind of interaction there are between thematic projects are expected between thematic projects and governance projects. The thematic projects, they also have to be coherent with the missions and with its topics and expectations. As you saw, you have to select a mission from the beginning of your application. So really have a clear view about the missions, about the specific objectives. And each project intervention logic should be based on a specific challenge, specific need that has to be tackled within one mission. Be careful because if a wrong mission or a specific objective that is not in the mission you're selecting is indicated on the application form, your application will not be eligible. So really be careful when analyzing and filling in the application form regarding these specific objectives and the missions of the program. Let's go then just for you to have a short view of the architecture of the program. So you have the program authorities with the monitoring committee and the managing authority. You have national contact points, so you might already know them very well and be in contact with them. The Joint Secretariat, of course, that is working directly with the program authorities, and that is together with the program authorities and the managing authorities, elaborating the terms of reference. That is framing the action for the thematic project and the governance projects. So thematic projects and governance projects are working together, and thematic projects are really the ones where the results and the solutions are expected to take place and to provide the contents and then contents to be disseminated to the wider region within the program area, but also to the wider Mediterranean area. So this is the point of the result amplification strategy. So the understanding of this strategy is very, very important, and not just because you have some mandatory activities that are connected to this, but this will be presented afterwards, I mean, in another seminar about the work plan, but it's really the philosophy behind this that is important to understand, because you are, of course, thematic project, you plan or you have the will to implement one specific project, but you're really taking part to a wider process, to a broader process. So yeah, really keep in mind that you are you will be one project among many projects and among a program that is trying to have an impact on the region and the wider region in the Mediterranean. So yes, thematic projects are really at the heart of the production of the knowledge, the solutions and the strategies. And the role of these projects is to ensure high quality results by learning from existing outputs and outcomes and building on most successful ones to maximize the impact of direction. That is very important. We'll come back to it afterwards. So the projects, the thematic projects must work hand in hand with the governance projects that are responsible for supporting the dissemination, transfer, and mainstreaming of results amplified by the collective ownership. So really, yeah, keep this in mind when thinking about your strategic framework and when filling the section C2 of the application form. We will go to this. Just a quick reminder of the missions, the 4 missions, and there's a specific objective. So really, once you have your project, really try to be accurate when selecting, when choosing one specific objective and one mission. And please do not make the mistake to select a specific objective and the mission that are not corresponding one to the other. So now filling the application form. So the part C2. The part C2 is really a key section to present the strategical framework. It follows a logical pattern to present the relevance of your project and convince the assessor, because when you're filling in an application form, it's, I think, really what you're willing to. So this logical pattern is really what do I want to do? What is the topic I would like to address with this project? Another section will be how. How do I plan? How do I choose to address this topic or this challenge? And then why into this program? Why through transnational cooperation? Why transnational cooperation is needed for this? So you have like on the right part of this slide, you can see how it will look in GEMS and how you will have to fill these sections. And now we will go more in details to the section. Just before to show you that this strategical framework is very important. It is corresponding to the strategic assessment criteria. So you can see here, and this is taken from the terms of references. So you have this at your disposal. You can see really what is at stake here in this section and when filling these parts. So what? C2.1, contextualizing your project. So the C2.1 question is, what are the common territorial challenges that will be tackled by the project? So into this section, you will have to describe why your project is needed in the program area and the relevance of your project for the program area. So really think about your project in the frame of the program and also in the frame of the challenges that are faced by the program area. So you will have to underline the common challenges and opportunities you address. So to do this, it is very important to demonstrate how useful your project is both in thematic and territorial context. So really, if you're picking a topic, you really have to present why the topic is relevant in itself and why it is especially relevant in the area of the program or in the targeted area of your project. So bear in mind the missions and the specific objective selected. Once again, it's really try to make it all of it fit one with the other. So then, when you have addressed this issue, you must contextualize your project. So you have to expose the relevant issues and the salient challenges that will be tackled by the project and how relevant it is in the Euromed zone. So it can be done through a brief state of the art, for example, or something. This way, really showing that the issues are important and the approach you would like to follow is especially relevant given what is done on this issue in the Euromed zone. Please be synthetic and as concise as possible. You will see that I will repeat it several times during this presentation, and please avoid generating a session. You have 2,000 characters, including blank characters, so it's shorter than what was possible for the second call for application. Because we really need you to be straightforward and to clearly present why your project is needed in the program area. Avoid ChatGPT, please, except if you master it. It's not an opposition per se. It's because the logical articulations in the application form are not really well taken in consideration with ChatGPT. So the applications usually are not relevant when using this tool. So please be careful with it. Then once you have presented what you will address, you will have to present us how you plan to address this issue. So present your project. How does the project tackle identified common challenges and/or opportunities, and what is new about the approach the project takes? Please describe new solutions that will be developed during the project and/or existing solutions that will be adopted and implemented during the project lifetime. We really need to understand what your project will bring, which novelties it will bring to the situation. So you can see here the articulation. After having indicated why your project is needed, you really must describe now how your project will address the issue, and it has to be clearly stated into this section. We clearly have to understand what you're planning to do and how you're planning to tackle the issue, the challenges with your project. The approach followed by the project should be clearly presented and convincingly highlight its relevance in regard to the topic addressed. You really need to convince the assessors that this approach is the right one to tackle the topic you chose. You also have to describe in what way the approach goes beyond existing practice in the sector, program area, participating country. Really, this dimension of what does your project brings new, what is it? What is the added value that your project will bring compared to what is already taking place into the targeted area? So in this part, you can describe the different steps of the project and explain how they will lead to the expected achievement. Bear in mind that all projects are intended to transfer their results. Please build your proposal around the idea of transferring the solutions and results developed in line with the result amplification strategy. So this is where the result amplification strategy comes back, and this is why you have to clearly understand the philosophy, the logic behind it. Once again, be synthetic, as concise as possible, and avoid generic assertions. 2,000 characters again. So it's all once again it's shorter than what it was for the previous call for thematic project, because many proposals were really too vague and like running in circles. So really be straightforward, clearly present what you are planning to do, how you plan to do it, and be convincing. Generic assertions are not so useful. I mean, you cannot just say we will try to fight droughts in the Mediterranean area, and that is very relevant for the area. Yes, of course it is indeed, but we really need to understand how you will do that and why this how is relevant, not the topic in itself, because the topic in itself are already in the frame of the program, so we can consider it is relevant, at least into the context of the program. So then, what, how, then why? Why transnational cooperation? Why do you submit a proposal into the Interreg Euromed program? So why is transnational cooperation needed to achieve project objectives and results? So please explain here why the project objectives cannot be efficiently reached acting only on national, regional, or local level, and/or describe what benefits the project partners, target groups, project area, program area, that all these ones are gaining in taking a transnational approach. So really, what is the added value of the transnational approach, both for the different territorial levels, but also for the different actors, target groups, and This section must be connected to section 2.1 and 2.1 and 2.2. Really, these elements are really going one after the other because there is a logic behind it. So please refer to this and keep in mind that architecture of the application. There must be a logical development all along the strategical part of the application form. You presented what is the topic of the project in C2.1, its relevance to the Euromed area, how the project addressed the issue in C2.2, and shall now present why transnational cooperation is needed for that. What will be the added value of transnational cooperation? Once again, be synthetic. As considered as possible and avoid generalization. You can maybe feel here there are some traumas about some very vague application where we really have to struggle to understand exactly what will be the purpose of the project. This should not be the case. We really, once the assessor read the section, he or she really needs to have a clear view of what you are planning to do. So please try to be synthetic and to self-assess your proposal, give it to other people for them to read it and tell you if it's clear, if it's clearly understandable, so on and so forth. So then, for whom? C2.4. So here are the target groups. So who will benefit from your project outputs? So in the first column of each row, please select one of the predefined target groups from the drop-down list. So here is a table that is taken from GEMS, so this will be specifically the kind of table you will have to fill into the monitoring system. At the program level, the core target groups of the program consist of national, regional, and local public authorities engaged in policy making, working together with other relevant bodies responsible for the definition and implementation of policies. Plus, there are specific focus or additional target groups by mission. So all of this is presented into the terms of reference. So when you are choosing or picking a mission, please be careful and try to focus and to stick to the target groups that are presented into the dedicated terms of reference. C2.5, contribution, so strategies and policies. So when you have presented how, you also have to locate your application into the wider strategies and policies, the wider institutional context, let's say. So you will have, please, to indicate to which strategies and policies your project will contribute, and then describe in what way you will contribute to these policies and strategies. So once again, projects are not only expected to highlight the strategies and policies they will contribute to, but also to highlight convincingly how they intend to do so. So it's not just about selecting, for example, the European Green Deal and saying we will tackle the issue of bio-waste or something that is very relevant for the Green Deal. No, you have to describe more precisely how the actions of your project will contribute to the EU Green Deal. Be concrete. So this last part really directly articulates the project and the policy strategies to underline a concrete contribution. It is important for us to understand concretely how you will contribute to those. Do not forget non-EU strategies. This is important. So those are national, regional, local strategies or policies. You can fill this using the other category, and it is also very important. It's not because it's in other that it is not important. It is very important, but of course it is not possible to put all the national, regional, local strategies into this table mentoring system. So it will be up to you to add these elements. This section is not a list of strategies and policies. So better, fewer, with a really concrete contribution that many strategies and policies with very vague contributions. Here is the other category that is really at the bottom of the table, but which is very important as well. So really, yeah, fill it with other strategies. 2.6 synergies. So last but not least, past or synergies with past or current projects. Which synergies with past or current EU and other projects will the new project make use of? You will have to describe here synergies and activities foreseen to ensure coordination and avoid overlaps with ongoing or past projects. All projects are expected to build on existing experience and go further, which means improving as well as strengthening, extending, or intensifying those experiences. So really, please here be also very, very, very clear, specifying also the consent EU-funded program. So when you are taking one project, for example, from Interreg NextMed, we specify that this project has been done or is currently being implemented in the context of the Interreg NextMed or any other program. It is very important to, once again, to understand concretely how you will build on this and how you will not overlap and how your project will not repeat at some extent what has already been done. So it's a bit sensitive. You really have to show that you're basing your activity, building on existing experiences, but really adding something more. Please provide a maximum of 10 projects, prioritizing the most relevant ones. So clearly describe how the new project intends to build on available results, knowledge for each project identified. Really, once again, be clear. Be convincing when presenting the synergies. The reader must clearly understand the need for a new project, building on the results, as well as the relevance of the projects listed in the context of the application. Do not forget to report it in the work plan. So this will be a warning. We have seen in the past very strong strategical framework, so C2 parts, but really weaker work plan. So these have to be connected. It's not strategy on one side and work plan on another side. The work plan is really how concretely you will implement the strategical framework. So when you're presenting something in the strategical framework, really think already about how you will report it in the work plan. So it is the case in it. So it's not just about making a list in the C2.6 section, but it's also for us to be able to find it again concretely into the work plan. Quality over quantity, once again, as for the strategies and policies. To remind you, in the context of this call, projects elaborating a complementary approach with results from LIFE, Prima Horizon, MFAF are strongly encouraged. So this is really the part where you can present this and where you can present what kind of complementary approach you're following. By complementary approach, we mean between the project, but also between the programs, because, for example, Prima Horizon is more a research-oriented program, while Interreg Euromed is the territorial cooperation program. So there are different approaches that can be complementary, and you will have to stress it into this section and to stress it convincingly, hopefully. So we are reaching to the end of this section. We just have another small element about the project logical framework. So once again, it has to be aligned with the program's mission. It has to liaise with the wider initiative and programs, contribute to the expected program result and indicators as indicated in terms of references. It has to link project-specific objectives, activities, output, and results. We will see that in the next slide, which will be also the last. And targets a desired change on the territory. That is really the final aim of the projects, and provides for obtaining the pursued results, and present the actions deployed to implement the strategical framework. So really, to summarize, although I hope it will look like summarizing for you as well. So you have your project overall objectives, and then you will have to decline this overall objective into work package when you will build your work plan, into work packages that are following a specific objectives, and implement activities that will lead to deliverables. Some of those or will lead also to output and results. And this is really the concrete part of what the project will do. And this is in regard of the program organization with the priorities. So, for example, the greener Mediterranean priority. The specific objective of the program, promoting transition to circular and resource-efficient economy, for example. And then the output indicators and result indicators, so jointly developed solutions taken up or scaled by organization. So that is the program organization, and then your project will have to decline its own activities, to organize its activities and decline it in order to fit and to stick to this program organization. I will not go too much in details on this topic, because it will be at the heart of the presentation you will have about the work plan for the next technical seminar. So I will just leave it like this, just for you, yeah, to have to get to see really the connection between the program organization from priority to the result indicators, and how it should be presented into the project. Because, as I said, the strategic framework is highly connected to the work plan. Do not think about these parts as two separate entities. They are not. It's highly connected, and the whole application form is highly connected. So that's why now we will go to the partnership. You have presentation about how to build a partnership, because once you have your strategical framework, what you want to do, what you're planning to do with your project, you have to build a partnership that will allow you make it possible to fulfill these objectives. So thank you very much, and now we are of course available if you need more information. It's your time to ask questions. So it can be done directly by raising your hands, or also in the chat of the team. So really feel free to ask questions. Usually takes some time.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Guillaume, for this presentation. We have a question that is linked to the terms of references on the multi-participants that are verified by the national authorities to ensure that administrative and financial capacity. Do multi-participants need to get some kind of official verification before submitting the call? And how do national authorities verify capacities? So you don't need to send anything to us before submitting the call, first of all. But just for you to know that there is a process in any case of verification of the partners by the national authorities during the assessment phase. And in that context, we highlight the multi-participants to the national authorities in order for them to ensure us or to verify if needed if those organizations have the capacity to implement different projects in the same time. How they do that, or they already know in any case, the organization, or they ask for further information directly to the organization. So don't be worried about that. But however, this should make you think about your own capacities to implement different projects in the same time. So this is really important because you know that running an Interreg project is not an easy task. There is a lot of administrative burden, even if we try to simplify it. So it's really important to consider that you have the capacity with your staff or to hire staff to implement the project, but also, and this is important, the financial capacity to spend before being reimbursed, like 1 year after your first expenditure, after you have done your first expenditure. This is really important. The second question is if there is an application form template available, or do we have to work directly in GEMS? You have a courtesy application form available on our website on the dedicated page for the call. Please go and see this dedicated page to the call. It's really important. I just put the link just before in the conversation. There you have everything, the terms of references, the guides, the links to the guides, the courtesy application form, also all the presentations and recording of the seminars are there. So it's really all the information you need. But be aware that the courtesy application form is just for you to have the information on outside of GEMS system, and to have also in orange some indications from our part that were presented here, for example, by Guillaume, what we expect in each section. However, everything has to be filled in GEMS and validated in GEMS. The application forms that we are assessing, and this is the first eligibility criteria, are only those that are submitted within the deadline through GEMS. And you don't have to fill in the application form also in French, but in sections that are compulsory, you need to put something in the French section. This can be a copy paste of the text you have put in English. It can be a slash, a point, anything, but you need to put something, otherwise you will not be able to submit your proposal. Why do we have this? Because it's important to highlight the mandatory sections for you in order to have the check to be sure that you have not forgotten any field. Otherwise, if you forgot a field, you will have 0 to the section assessed, and it would be a pity. But we cannot have this compulsory section only in one of the 2 languages. Okay? I hope this is clear because Guillaume said it just before also. I repeat it again. We know that this is something that has been confusing for previous applicants, so we try to stress it as possible. And we have again the question on where we will find the presentation showed this morning. Please, I said it in all the seminars. Everything is on the page. Just the link is just in the conversation of the dedicated page on our website of the call. And of course, if you want to go to only one event, for example, through the event section, also you can find the information on both sides. So everything is there. Of course, just give us few days in order to have the possibility to work on the record before we publish it on our website. And we have a questions if lead partners can fill out and hand in the AF with their GEMS registration, or other project partners should register it too in advance. Thanks. Okay. In the system, once the lead partner has created the application form, he has you have a section that is named project privileges, where you can add as many persons as you want that can either edit a part of the application form or just see them. So if you have partners that need to edit, for example, that partner information, and you want them to do it directly, this can be done if you give them the edit rights. But also you can just keep the edit rights to those that are writing the content of the application form, and give to all the partners the reading rights, in order for them, of course, to be aware of what you have wrote in the application form. And it's really important to share with all your partners the whole application form. I insist on that because we have seen also now that we are contracting the first thematic projects, that we have a lot of withdrawal of partners because they have some difficulties in implementing some parts or activities in the project. So we stress the importance to choose your partners carefully, and to ensure that what you have planned for them is feasible for them, and it's in their willingness and strategy as well. And any question on the partnership will be taken afterwards, since Christophe will present the section of the partnership first. Okay. Do we have any other questions? I don't see any raised hands. Okay, there is a question about past projects. You have all our project results from the 14-20 period in the program library. And for the 21-27 period, you have the list of projects that is edited with the list of the partners in our website. I will put now the link where you can find this information in our website just now. Okay, so maybe we can have a 5-minute break before Christophe, you jump into the partnership call topic. Okay, so let's start again at 11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can we start again? Colleagues, are you ready? Not yet. Okay.
So I don't know if you could make it to get a coffee in the break. Now, I'm Christoph Meyer. I'm now continuing the session, and we are going through the partnership, how to build a partnership, solid partnership, what it's called. And I will also give you some indications at the end, some indications about GEMS. So we are starting with the partnership for, we are working on a transnational base. So of course, you have to come from different countries. We have a minimum requirement. This means project partners should come from 5 different countries and within the cooperation area. So this is important because we have some countries that are not fully integrated in the cooperation area. In this case, you must make sure if you are in this minimum requirements, within this minimum requirements, that you have at least, if you want this country to be taken into account, that you have at least one partner from the part of the cooperation area in your project. This is concerning, for example, France or Portugal. We have a requirement concerning the lead partner. So the lead partner must be a public body or a body governed by public law. And we have another requirement, which means that at least 2 partners must be based in EU regions of the program cooperation area. So this means we have different, we have EU regions and we have IPA regions. This is concerning the pre-accession status of some of the countries that are participating in this program. And these partners coming from IPA countries, if they are private institutions, the requirement is that they must be non-profit. In general, this means that organizations from IPA countries can also be lead partners. This is for this program in general, this is something new. Before, this was not easily possible. And yes, then we have, of course, the documents. You go to the program manual. This is always, of course, it should be one of your first steps also when you are working on building a project. You should, of course, check the program manual because you have a lot of information, relevant information in the program manual as well as in the terms of references. Okay. So I just frozen a little bit the presentation. So Guillaume is taking over to the next slide because for the moment, I cannot get there. Stopping. Sorry for.
You have some technical issue.
So just switching to Guillaume, who's taking over for the slides that have been frozen on my side. Now we're looking at the eligibility, and the next slide should be about the status. It's 34. Eligibility. Okay, this is already the types of partners. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Eligibility criteria. The next one is So I got another. Okay, thank you.
Okay, just to precise, I don't know, maybe it was said, but yeah, about the minimum requirement of 2 partners from EU regions, of course, within the regions of the program area. So within the 69 regions of the program area, it's important. So you can have also partners from other regions that are not in the program area, but they are not counted in the minimum requirements about eligibility of the partnership.
Exactly. We had this is important because it can be an important issue as well. Eligible types of partners. I don't want to give too much details on this. You can see we have a very large possibilities for partners to participate in the program. If there are any questions, do not hesitate to ask. But usually, I think it is very large, and it's also mentioned in all the documents. Who can participate, what type of organizations can participate in the program in your project. And now we come to the co-funded and associated status of partners. As you know, we have different type of partners. So we have, first of all, we have co-funded partners. I'm taking this because like this it's easier. Co-funded partners, the main difference is that co-funded partners, they receive funds to participate in the project, while associated partners are usually reimbursed only on very particular issues. This is basically limited to the expenditure concerning travel that can be taken over by the partner that is the one that is in touch with the associated partner, because each associated partner is in the project, is taken into the project by a co-funded partner. So the budget that is co-funded for a co-funded partner is 80%. Usually we have a limited number of co-funded partners. This means recommended more or less 10 for a test and 8 for a transfer project. And what are they doing? Of course, they are implementing directly the activities. They are working on an institutional and operational level and transferring the results. Associated partners, they can come from any country, so there are no limitations on this. As I mentioned, they don't receive funds. Potentially, there's no limitation on, but of course, it should make sense. It's not making sense to add just for the number associated partners. So each associated partner should have, of course, a particular role. And this role could be, what are they usually doing? So these are not partners that you had you could not financially integrate in your project. Usually they have a very particular role. This could be, for example, advisory status, also particular end users, and could be also observers. So they could be interested in a particular result of the project or give a particular input to the project. So this is a good associated partner in that case. Yeah, and now I wanted to give you some an overlook on criteria now for building a partnership. First of all, you are building a partnership, as Guillaume has mentioned, in the framework, in a strategic framework. So you are, of course, when we talk about your partnership, you are considering what you want to do, what objectives you want to reach, how you are tackling a problem in the program area. So you are starting when we are discussing the relevance of your partners. You are considering all this as well. Partners are not just there for filling in a blank, but they are there for doing something in each project. So each partner is relevant for your project. This is, of course, very much linked also to the points you have been describing previously when we were talking about the relevance and context of your project, the transnationality, the target groups, all this is where you can see also the relevance of each partner that is participating in your project. The interests should be linked to the project objectives. So this is very important. For example, we want to have to see that in the partnership as well, you going into one direction. If you have a project that is, for example, linked to coastal areas, and then you have one partner that is working on a river, but okay, we understand he comes perhaps from a different country to fill up the partnership on that side. But then we have perhaps a problem because we see that the project is not coherent in itself. There are some partners that their interests are not necessarily linked to the project objectives. Okay, they can perhaps fill the requirement on different nations on board, but we see already that this is going into different directions, that perhaps this project, we don't want to have two different projects on the ground and working parallel, but it should be one project. It should be the same interest for all of the partners to go into the same direction. Results oriented, of course, just an example. You have a project with, I'm a little bit exaggerating, with 8 universities and 1 NGO working on the implementation of results on a local level. So you see already there is problem concerning how to implement the results. It should be, of course, also in the partnership. We want to see that you have the potential also to go all the way to implement the result, not only to perhaps draw up a strategy that might be very interesting, but we want to see also that you have on the ground the potential to implement the results. The required competences, it's important. You want to work, for example, on tourism and cultural heritage, and in that case, you should have competences that are also in touch with the cultural heritage. So if you're just working on the tourism side, at one point it might be limited, you see, because there are restrictions from the cultural heritage. You cannot, tourism is interesting, but there are also interactions that have to be taken into account. So it is important that we can also see that where you want to go with your topic, you have the required competences on board of your project. A balanced partnership. For example, you have a project, a proposal that is built around the Adriatic Sea, and then you have one partner in charge of communication activities from Portugal. So then there is, of course, a question. Of course, technically the requirements are fulfilled, but one of the questions that we will have in that case is, of course, is it really the program, is Euromed program then the right program for implementing the project? Because perhaps you could find a partner easily that is competent in communication activities in this area as well, and then you could perhaps make an Adrian proposal. So this has to be taken into account that you are working on a Euromed level. The involvement of decision makers, this is, we know this is complex because decision makers, they do not necessarily have the same rhythm with their decisions as you have with a project. You are usually limited to 3 years. Decision makers, that could be very, very large or long timelines that they have in consideration, but at least you should align the project and the results that you can achieve with your project to the rhythm of the decision makers. So you know that at the end, the decision makers are going in this direction. So when they are taking these decisions, and where you can come up with your project to give a successful input to their decisions. Manageable size. Yeah, we have recommendations. I have mentioned for transfer projects 8, for test projects 10 partners. It is not, yeah, this is not the Bible. You can have 11 or 12, but it should be justified then that you have more partners, not just to fill in or fill up your partnership, but then at one point, of course, it's getting complicated to handle a project if you have too many partners as well. The partnership should be committed. This is also very important, and I'm pointing out here also the involvement of the associated partners, because sometimes you have very important associated partners that are, for example, yeah, actually implementing perhaps your results. And this is what should be pointed out also, that associated partners are committed. They are not just there, they are committed really, they are interested in the results, and they are committed to work with the results. And finally, it has also been mentioned already, the financial capacity. It is an old issue of almost all Interreg programs and projects that yeah, we are working with reimbursement. So we don't give you an advance payment. There is the only thing that there is a preparational cost that you can get to start for starting your project, but this is very limited. Just keep in mind that cash flow is an issue, because you will get back reimbursement, and if it is an issue for you, you should really think about this and have a plan how to cope with this reporting, this administrational stuff, and also the timelines that we have in these programs. Role and obligations of the lead partner. I do not want to spend too much time on explaining this part, because I think most of the points are self-evident. It is also, again, you have information in the program manual. Just to point out one issue, it is the lead partner that is mainly in touch with us, with the secretary. And of course, this is the communication flow is very important here as well, because as you mentioned, we have more and more projects to implement, and to have a good communication between the lead partner and the secretariat is one of the main keys for successful project implementation. Yeah, the profile of a lead partner, I have already mentioned that it is very important that lead partner has, well, this is a requirement, not even only very important. Requirement is the one requirement that we have for lead partner, public body or public law governed institution. Then there are, of course, certain advantages that should be presented. This is concerning the experience with the implementation of EU projects. Of course, the capacity to lead, the capacity to build up resources. A lead partner usually has, this is something that starts with the application process and goes even beyond the implementation of the project, because sometimes we get requests after the project implementation. This could concern, for example, a second level control, or also communication issues, that there are still some opportunities to present a project even after it has already been implemented. Then there should be a lead partner that has a thematic knowledge. This is very important. We don't have lead partners that are just moderating or managing. They are also thematically involved in every project. The commitment, of course, and then the language skills. Usually it is mainly English. We are bilingual program, so French is also possible. But in any case, English is required, because you will be in touch with governance projects, with other projects. So this is important also to point out that language skills on the international level are very important for implementing these transnational projects. We have certain requirements concerning the staff profile. Lead partner should, the staff should, there should be also the project coordinator. Financial manager is important, is required, and the legal representative that is in charge to act and sign all the official documents. For example, the contractual documents, or also when there is any when there are any decisions to be taken on the legal side. We have then the project partners, the normal project partners, role and obligations. Okay, this is also just a summary. I don't want to spend too much to go too much into detail. You can read this as well in the manual, but there are, just to summarize, there are formal requirements like to sign the documents, to report, and then there are of course something that I would call a little bit like soft skills, solid communication flow within the partnership, and also to have to contribute to the project activities. This makes a good project partner. We have requirements concerning different roles that are not necessarily linked to the lead partner, but it could be taken over by other partners that are in your project. This is concerning the communication officer. There's a coordinator for the result amplification. Guillaume has mentioned the result amplification, so there's also a coordinator that is taking in charge the cooperation of the project with this result amplification strategy. We have a coordinator for carbon footprint. This means usually to organize the collection of the data from all the project partners, and then we are providing a tool with which this carbon footprint of your project can be calculated and monitored. So on the long line, this would be give you an information on how you can develop your activities, encouraging you, of course, to avoid high carbon footprint. And then we have finally the data controller and data protection officer. Also from a requirement, all these four positions do not have to be necessarily provided by the lead partner. Okay, then I'm already getting to the summary of the partnership. So we have actually we have four kinds of project partners. We have public project partners, public equivalent project partners, private project partners, and we have international organizations. Concerning the differences for Euromed and IPA, I want to say the EU and IPA status, they are almost disappearing now. The only point that we have is that private institutions from IPA member states are from IPA, not member states, but participants in the program, when they are private, they must be non-profit. And then we have some requirements concerning lead partners. So this is basically lead partner role is basically for public bodies or public equivalent bodies. Okay. And now I'm taking you to how you could justify your partnership in the application form. And I'm giving you some direct links to GEMS again. So where are you finally going in order to present your partnership? First of all, we have the section C3. You can see it just below the sections that have been shown by Guillaume before. And here, this is very important because here you are describing the partnership as a whole. And I put it the way you're explaining the team and the match plan somehow. It's not about individual partners here. This is a different section we will see afterwards. But this is where you really justify why you want to work with the partners that you have on board on this topic. This means, of course, to point out the complementarities, the structure of the partnership, and also to go to associated partners, in particular when they have key roles. So if you have an associated partner that is very important for directly implementing your project results, it should also be mentioned in the partnership, because you are limited on the other hand. So you cannot, of course, you have to make a choice what you present. You really have to identify the points that are important in order to understand why do you want to go with these partners that you have chosen in order to tackle the project objectives that you have also proposed. And yes, you have you go to the section C3. There you have all the possibility to inform about your project partnership. And now looking at individual competences, of course, it's also important. This is a different section. This is where you describe the motivation and the possible contribution by all the partners. So I put it in the way, this is where you describe the players. Here we want to know about the competences referring to the activity, to the proposed participation in the project. We want also to know how you have, of course, you have particular experiences, how you will use these experiences in order to contribute to the project. It should be explained. It should not be just a list of projects. This partner has participated in that project, in another project like this. No, you want to know really what the partner has done in the project and why it is now important that he can use his competence for participating in the project you are proposing. And then also, of course, the role of the partner in the project. We have some presented some roles like carbon footprint or result amplification, communication leader, but also other roles that you are defining by your project. This is where you put in advance the individual partner and how they are working in your project. Where do you do this? So here you go. Now we go up a little bit. We have been going down first to section C3, and now you go to section B. You have in section B, you have the possibility to add partners. So this is here the option you see in GEMS. You add a new partner, and then you have to add a couple of information, of course, basic information, address, contact information. Then the part that I have been insisting on, which is mainly the motivation and the role of the partners. And finally, also in this section, you put the partner budget. We will have a particular seminar on budget, so I'm just giving you the information where you are entering budget here, but we are not talking about budget now, just to know where you put it in GEMS. And then we have, for example, also state aid, which is an issue that has been always relevant to check and is also relevant for this program period. The logic behind is that there are certain rules of how in the European Union public funds can be used, and we are at the interface between funding and competition. And so it has to be clarified how each partner is at this interface, how this funding is being used in accordance with the legal rules. So we have some information on state aid that we have already drafted in accordance to your projects. And this is also then something that will be checked before you launch your project, if this information has been is consistent. Okay. Finally, we come to the associated organizations. It is a little bit like also describing the partners, but of course much more limited and yeah, you have summed up. Basically, you give the role of the associated organization, and you have to give some administrative information on the contact and the legal representative. And then you have to fill in declarations. Yeah, okay, you add the associated organizations just in GEMS, just under the partnership information. So this is where you have add new associated organizations, and you have to each associated partner is also in line with one project partner. Yes, then we have another section. This is concerning the internal organization of your partnership. This is where we are asking you to give information on the project management. This is also important to describe how the partners are participating in management tasks. Of course, this is mainly concerning the lead partner, but not only. You should give information on how the coordination is developed, on management structures, for example, thematic groups, or also the work package managers, and how the internal communication is supposed to work. So this is the internal part of your partnership. Here we go back to way below the work plan. So you have, as you can see now in GEMS, we are back in GEMS. You can see the C4 is the work plan. This is above. And the C7, this is after the work plan, where you enter this information. You have yeah, information on the coordination and measures that you are planning for the quality of your projects, for example. We are basically, for the partnership, we are evaluating the 7.1. So this is concerning the coordination. Just to sum up now on the evaluation side, so this are the different sections that we are taking into account when we are evaluating your partnership in the project. So the first, I think the main issue is, of course, the C3. We are presenting your partnership as a team and with your match plan, to put it that way. And then, of course, we are looking at each partner. It could be even that sometimes we have to look at your web page or so to get more information. But basically, we want you to bring all this information here that we can judge from the relevant information for the project. Not general information, but relevant information. And then the competences also on the thematic field, and also for the lead partner, the requirements, the experience, what has been presented before, and finally the associated partners and the added value they bring to the project. Before I open again to questions, I wanted just to point out some tools that help you to prepare and submit your application. So if you go to our webpage, which is, of course, your central access to all information concerning the project design and also the program background, You will find the forum where you can search for potential partners. And then you have a frequently asked questions section. So this is designed in order to give all the partners the same access to questions that have been that come up during your project design phase. So there's already a couple of questions that have been answered. So just check by you can, if you have a search function, or you just check by topic. And then if you have on top, if you are identifying an issue that you want to get more information, that you need to get more information for your project design, you can ask also a new question, and we will give an answer that again will be usually published to all so that everybody has access to this section. Okay, now again on this section we are taking your questions concerning the partnership now. We had one perhaps from before.
Thank you very much. So let's see the questions now. I think that several of them have been answered already by your presentation, because they were asked at the beginning of your presentation. And I think that you have already answered to many of them. However, let's have a look at them. First of all, we have a question from Andrea on the recommended size and typology of partners regarding institutional and operational partners, and if we can we need to have some majority of partnership or an example. There is no example we can give you, because it really depends on your activities and the approach you are choosing in the implementation of your project. So, for example, also when we discuss about, we talk about institutional or operational partners, a same organization can have either an institutional or an organizational, operational, role. It depends on its role in the project. Just take an example, a municipality. A municipality, if its role in the project is to take a strategy, for example, and implement it in its and take it in its own policy, it will have an institutional role. However, if the municipality is there in order to implement a pilot activity in its own territory, then it has an operational role. So this is important to consider, because this is why we cannot give you examples of which kind of partner is institutional or operational. It's on the role of the partner. If you have partners that are outside of the program area, this is totally possible. Again, it will be assessed. The relevance of the participation of the partner will be assessed, and if it brings something to the partnership and to the cooperation area of the program, there is no problem at all. However, they do not count in the minimum requirements, meaning that if you have a partner from Lille, for example, in France, if you have only a partner from Lille, from France will not count in the 5 minimum countries in that case. Okay, this partner from Lille will not count in the 5 minimum countries or in the 2 EU regions as well. If a university can be a lead partner, you have seen the requirements for the lead partners. If the university is public or public equivalent, it can be a lead partner. And we do not have any minimum, there is no minimum requirements for the participation of IPA partners. We do not ask for a minimum of one partner from IPA. I think you have misunderstood. But we said that, of course, they can be partners and they can be also lead partners. And if they are private, they should be non-profit. This is the only requirements we have. I would like here to remind you that in our program manual, there is a section dedicated to building your consortium, and which is really important to read because you have all the information there. If a private company can participate as associated partner, any public or private organization can participate as associated partner. There is no limitation there, and private companies can also participate as full partners. There is no limitation about the partners from a previous Euromed project that can join the proposal. Again, the thing is to justify your partnership, and that your partnership is responding to your objectives and is the right partnership to implement and reach your objectives. We have also a question on if there is a limitation in the number of partners by country. We do not, again, we do not put a limitation, but everything has to be justified and demonstrated. And a partnership has to be balanced geographically. But if you justify why you need those 3 partners from this country because they will implement this and this activity and they are the best ones to do that, this will be assessed. And it will depend on the overall partnership composition and how you justify it. For example, in some cases, we have partners that are representing not local territorial they don't represent their own region, for example, or territory, but they have a more transnational or international role. In that case, we take this into account in the assessment, saying that, okay, maybe there are 3, but in the 3, there is one that is just there because it's located here, the headquarters are there, but they have a transnational or international value. So we take this into account in our assessment as well. Okay, there was a question about the consulting companies. I answered by written because we have a dedicated paragraph in our manual that says that private companies whose main activity is limited to supporting actions that are not eligible as direct partners. So please, this is why I said, please consult this part of the manual in priority. Is really important. Okay, then it's good that you use the chat also for networking. This is why we have opened the chat so that you can do that as you wish. There is then a question about the SMEs the participation of SMEs and if there is a specific financial requirement. I don't know exactly what you mean by specific financial requirement. The financial capacity of the SME will be verified by the national authority. But there is no specific financial requirement on our behalf than the one that to be able to implement the project and to have the administrative and financial capacity to implement it. And for the national contribution, you can bring either private funds, so your own funds, or you can also have an external, a public or private contribution. Okay.
I think the next question, Sophie, is that we have a couple of information on different partners that are perhaps looking to join a project. But then the next question is, could you please clarify which is the market you're referring to when you ask about the activities for which a market exists in the state aid?
Okay, you will have a dedicated seminar on the budget, on the eligibility of expenditure, and on state aid. Of course, because we know that this is quite a tricky part, but the market is the local or the market in the area. I mean, if can you buy such an activity, the produce of the activity in the market? What you will produce, can you buy it? Or, for example, if it's a training, for example, that you want to provide, is there such a training available on the market? Can I find such a training in the market, in my region, or on the internet, etc. So this is what we think about the market. Is the market of goods and services available.
Then we have a question on how many projects can an organization participate in as a partner or applicant, and referring to universities.
Okay. We do not set any limitation. This is assessed, as we said before, against the administrative and financial capacity of the organization to participate in more than one proposal, or in one or more proposals. And when we see that there are a lot of participations, we ask the national authority to verify this capacity. So, for example, of course, for the universities which have different departments, in general, the result we have from this assessment is that the university has this capacity because they have different departments, etc., and they have the financial and administrative capacity to implement those projects.
Then the next question. Oh, sorry.
No, let's go.
Lynn has been answered by Lydie about that the funds are eligible also. Then we have a couple of contact search, and then the last question is again: is there a platform on the website for finding partners? Yes, yes, you have a forum, and in this forum you can use this forum also for partner search, and there's again.
Mainly for partner search. The forum is for the partner
search. The idea.
It's the idea of the forum is to facilitate partner search.
So you have decided to. Nobody has asked the question directly. You have decided to write today.
No other question? Okay, I would like just to summarize some key points that have been said today then. Be precise, be concrete, justify, demonstrate what you are saying. I think that those are the crucial words. Anything you put in your application form has to be justified, has to be demonstrated in order to get the best scores. It's as simple as that, because we don't have to imagine, to suppose things that are not written, but that we should suppose from what we write. Answer to the questions where we ask them. So the question we put in 2.1, 2.2, or 2.3, please try to answer there to the question. We should not try to find the answer everywhere in the application form in different other sections as well. Of course, we take the overall application form into account, but it's important to answer to the dedicated scale questions. choose right, reliable, balanced partners. It's really the core of your success. Okay, because we can review activities, we can reformulate things, we can adapt a timetable, but you cannot change as easily your partnership. It's really important from the beginning that you have the right partners to implement the activities, that they know where they engage, their engagement, where they, why they are signing, what they are signing, so that they have the capacity, that they have the competence, that they have the willingness, that they have the political support to implement the project, that they will have also the possibility to continue the after the project ends, and to ensure transferability, durability of the results. This is really important, and to be balanced in all terms, meaning geographically, in terms of capacities, in terms of competencies, skills, etc. Why we emphasize that? Because we see now, and most of you are probably engaged already in projects in the second call, and we have a lot of changes in the partnership that occur now because the partners finally they are not committed, they had misunderstood what they had to do for many reasons. Of course, there are reasons that, I mean, they are all justified in any case, but this has a consequence in the implementation of the project. We are delaying, of course, the pre-contracting phase, so we are delaying the signature of the subsidy contract and partnership agreements, so you are delaying your activities. And of course, it also, you have a lot of things to change, and in the approach, in your project, etc. So since we know that it happens, because it takes about 1 year from now until the you are thinking about your partnership until the time the project will start. So changes are normal and expected, but we have to say that this time we have seen a lot and many more changes in the partnerships at the beginning of the project. So, and the other thing is that the terms of reference, the manual, the dedicated page on the website for the call, these are the key elements you have to know, very well. Everything is already there, normally written. So, of course, we are here to answer to your questions, but first of all, please read the documents. Please see also the PowerPoint presentations. We give a lot of information in these seminars also. Review them if necessary, and yeah, and I'm sure with this information you will be able to write very qualitative proposals that we will be glad to assess and to implement afterwards. There is a last questions about the differences from mission and specific objective. Okay, this comes from the program architecture, so I would advise you to review also our presentation, general presentation of the program that is available on our website, but also on the presentation we had on the 8th of March. In our program, there are the specific objectives which came from the regulation, okay, from the cohesion policy objectives, and we have taken we decided to group our objectives, our program objectives, through 4 different missions. You have a terms of reference for each of the mission, where you have detailed information on what are the objectives of the mission. The mission gives a more ambitious, let's say, objective and than the specific objective. Okay, So within each mission, of course, you have some specific objectives that are taken from, as I said, the regulation. But the project will contribute to something bigger, let's say. Okay. For example, it will contribute to strengthening the innovative sustainable economy, either through the specific objective 1.1, either through the specific objective 2.6 on circular economy. So the approach you will choose will come in your project, will come through a specific objective in order to contribute to a wider scope, which is the scope of the mission. So everything is explained in our terms of references, in our program, on our website. Also, you have a dedicated page to each mission for each mission, with information there on the mission scope, activities, and our governance project activities. And I advise you to consult also these dedicated pages to each of the missions in order to see also how you can contribute to each of them. I don't know if colleagues want to add something.
Concerning this point, I just forget the specific objective. This is has been defined for many Interreg programs, or for all of them. They all work with specific objectives and missions. This is something that we have identified for this particular program. So we have rearranged and distributed the specific objectives into the missions that are tackling that are interesting for our program. I think this is also something to add just to complement that information.
Okay, so yeah, the specific objective 1.1 are the same. They came from the regulation. You see the 1.1 in the innovation. This one was also open for tourism in the second call for proposal and is not open now. This is why it's not in the picture for this call. I'm answering to the last question. So specific objective 1.1 is consolidated and competitive innovation ecosystem. But if you read the terms of references for sustainable tourism, you will see that all the information refers to the three other specific objectives of the regulation. Okay, so thank you very much to all of you. I hope that this seminar has been fruitful for you, and that you have get all the information you needed to start drafting your applications, at least the part on the partnership and the strategic framework. And of course, if you will have further information in the next technical meetings. Next one will be on the work plan, so we will go deep in the activities on the 15th, and on the 17th of April on the budget, state aid, and eligibility of expenditure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.